Well, I was posting videos probably every couple of days, and you may be wondering why I hadn't posted recently. So here's the problem. In my rush, well, I spent hours trying to get the rear subframe back in. I could not get the bolts to line up properly, or the holes for the bolts in the bushes, in these rear bushes. I couldn't get them to line up properly with the bolt holes. I tried a number of different ways of doing it, and eventually I decided to loosen off all the bolts as far as I possibly could, then get them screwed into place in some fashion, which I did manage, and then pull the whole thing up. So it sort of got halfway there, and then the bolt this side jammed and the bolt the other side jammed. I can't quite see that over there. I did manage to get the other side out, but I've certainly done some damage to the threads, which I've had to retap the hole on the other side. It needs to be able to take 108 Newton meters of torque on the bolt, so I'm going to test that. This side, you can see that in trying to get it out, I actually sheared the bolt. It's completely jammed in there. I've thought about using heat, but the trouble is I believe that the captive nut thing above it is actually sitting on a plastic insert, and I don't want to do any damage to that, so I think I'm going to back away from using heat. So my next position in getting this out is to drill it out. So I'm going to try that today. If that ends up damaging the threads beyond repair, I'll then drill out the whole. It's not just a nut, actually, it's a threaded sleeve that goes up into the sort of box section above. I'll drill that out and I will helicoil it, and if that doesn't work, I'm going to have to cut in from above, cut out the captive nut thing, the sleeve, and put another one in. We've got a local BMW breaker, actually, so I can go down to the breakers and get a suitable bit off another car, but I really don't want to go that far. Thing that really concerns me about that is getting it welded into place accurately enough so everything fits. So now let me explain what I think happened. The sleeve, you can see, this is the sleeve that goes through the bush. This is the one from the other side. And I don't know whether you can see this, but you can see it's actually ended up getting threaded. It's obviously had a lot of sideways force against it. And I think what has happened, rather than the bolts being cross-threaded, I think they've scooped a load of aluminium off the inside of these sleeves and carried it up into the nut. And that's what's causing it to jam and causing damage to the threads, to be truthful, because the sleeve, the threaded sleeve that's in the body, is actually some sort of alloy itself. I don't think it's steel. It looks like it's an aluminium alloy. So I think that's what's caused the issue, because it doesn't look cross-threaded, and when I got the other side out, although there was damage to the threads, it didn't have that look as though there was another set of threads overlaid on the first set of threads, if you understand what I mean. So I don't think it's a cross-threaded issue. I think it's just a sort of contamination issue, if you like. Anyway, that's the story, and that's the reason why I haven't been posting recently. I've been just trying to figure out how to get myself out of this position. It's a real shame, because everything here you can see is ready to go, and I've spoken to other people who have put the rear subframe in their E87, and they say, oh yeah, it just all lines up. Yeah, well, not in my case, it didn't. So although getting this bolt out is not going to solve the misalignment issue, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have another one of these sleeves made by a local engineering company, but I'm going to have the hole offset by 3 mil, the hole through the center, because it's about 3 mil out. And In fact, what I might do is I might try and do it and split it 1.5mm each side if that's appropriate. To test this theory, I'm going to use my 3D printer and print a bush with an offset hole and then try it to see if that works before I actually commission the manufacture of the sleeve, because it's not cheap. Yeah, so this job, which I thought would take me about 2 hours, I think I've spent about 14 hours so far, and obviously I am some way away from getting this back in. This is going to be probably about a 40-hour job. No, maybe not that, about 30-hour job in its own right. Well, that's the first bit of good luck I've had for a while. So that is torqued to actually 110, and it needs to be torqued to 108. So it seems as though re-tapping the thread has done it. I mean, being such a long thread in a sleeve, that probably helps, but it's looking okay.